you on. This is awesome to have you on, CJ. A top 5 linebacker in the country who just came off of an amazing season at North Shore. CJ, thank you for making some time for us. What will you remember the most about this last season that you just barely finished, this senior year for you at North Shore?
First I just want to thank you for having me on. The first thing, like the most important thing that I remember from the season is just like my brothers and just the experience, like having my senior season, just being able to ball with them for one last time. So that's definitely what I'm gonna remember.
Well, and you guys won 14 games in a row, and maybe it didn't end exactly the way you wanted it to. How will this title game loss fuel you for the next phase of your career?
Just motivation is just more gas in the tank. Showed me a lot. Showed me more improvement can be done. There's always room for improvement. So,
and you told on three. You told on three it was your dream to go to LSU since you were a kid, CJ. That was a direct quote. When did you first hear of LSU, and when did you first go, that's my team?
I think everybody had the Odell Beckham moment. So I think it really just built off of that and like just seeing them win and just keep winning and like how many guys they sent to the NFL.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just got into a debate with a Texas fan who was saying, oh, Texas is the new DBU and like LSU's the past. And I'm like, hey, man, like even though we've had a kind of a dry stretch here, we're still getting a ton of DBs drafted. And I kind of compared the notes, and it was outrageous how many LSU had more than Texas. Is like there's no debate here, man. And LSU's kind of done that with so many throughout the draft and kind of had a really awesome, strong draft history. When did you first think about LSU, though, as a serious option for your future? Not just like that's a team that I'm a fan of, but that's a team I want to go to school at. That's a team I want to play for and win a championship at.
Blake Baker, for sure, he definitely like drew the line of like, yeah, this is definitely where I want to be, because I knew he had like a deep history of sending guys to the NFL. So that's definitely what really put the check in the box. I can't hear you.
All right, I'm on mute. Yeah, sorry about that. I left the mute button on there. Blake Baker, he does have that pedigree, and he's been killing it. Is he kind of the main assistant, the main coaching component of your recruitment that made you choose LSU, Baker?
Can you like, what do you mean by that?
Like, was Blake Baker and maybe how his development plan for you, his scheme, everything about Coach Baker was that kind of like the main? He's the main coach for why you want to go to LSU. Is Blake Baker?
Oh yeah, he is for sure. Great guy.
So you really like his vision of how he wants to develop you and utilize you over the next few years.
For sure, I definitely trust him with my career. Definitely trust him with my future.
CJ, what was the moment in your recruitment when you're like, okay, you've had a ton of offers. You were a top 5 linebacker. Pretty much every school is going after you. What made you say, okay, this is LSU. This is it. This is the place?
Right when LSU hopped in the picture, it's kind of like everything is like I already know where I want to go. So that's why I committed like really, really soon when I got the LSU offer, because it was like I know where I want to be, so there's no need to waste time with other schools.
What kind of behind the scenes stuff was going on during your recruitment and on campus, kind of the conversations of your recruitment that were kind of the key that made you go, this is the moment that's kind of really making me buy in here?
A lot of my teammates and friends and family, they really knew I wanted to go there. So they was like kind of putting it in my ear, but I had already knew. And so, just talking to Coach Baker on the phone over my recruitment and different things like that.
Oh, so Baker was constant contact with you and stuff. what school was number 2 behind LSU? Like if you couldn't have gone to LSU, what would have been that school that was closest in contention?
Uh, I don't think there really was no close contestant. So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I don't think there was any. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh hell yeah, I love that answer. CJ, how did you think? How did you think about the evolution of the linebacker position at LSU over the last season with Baker there? You know, like how did you think it went for LSU?
I actually think it went like pretty good. It was like a very explosive season for the linebackers. You know, got to see guys ball and be able to like have the ability to fly around like players like Whit Weeks. So yeah, it was just really good seeing what I'll be in the next few for the next few years.
You know, they tried Perkins there. It didn't quite work, but of course, Whit Weeks, like you just said, became a superstar, and then Devon Keys. He looks comfortable as a starter out there. He was fantastic. West Weeks returning for one last year. Tylen Singleton, Zach Weeks, your 2025 classmate of yours. Do you with you added? Could this be LSU's best position group defensively?
Uh, I wouldn't just say that, but I think all the positions are good, but it could possibly be.
I mean, it just seems stacked to me. It just seems outrageous, the linebacking core. I mean, do you realize, CJ, that LSU have a thing about freshman linebackers breaking out and starting games and really kicking ass? You got Devon Keys, who did that this year. You got Whit Weeks in 2023 who did that. You got Harold Perkins in 2022. That's 3 years in a row. In 2019, you had Damone Clark who did that. 2016, Devin White. How does that inspire you, knowing, there's a considerable recent history of LSU freshman linebackers doing well?
That really just shows me that it's possible to happen. Just got to keep working and just keep putting my head down and grinding. So.
Well, I mean, there's been plenty of hype from these LSU fans about this fabled 2025 class that you're a part of, and for is this the one, the class for Brian Kelly? What kind of potential do you see in this 2025 signing class?
A natty for sure. I definitely see a natty.
Why is that? Why do you think this team is? I mean, not this team, but really, well, actually, I should say this team now with you guys, the addition of your cycle. What makes you say that? Why is that possible?
It seemed like everybody in my class was ready to go to work, ready to put the work in and be a part of something great.
That's the thing, man. I've seen that with DJ Pickett. I've seen that with you. I've seen that with Zach Weeks. I mean, you go down the list, it seems like Brian Kelly is really – he's kind of found the guy, and work ethic is a big cornerstone of that, in my opinion. You hit the nail on the head there. What do you think is the part of your game you need to improve on the most as you head to LSU in only a month here?
Oh, that's a good one. Definitely my pass coverage skills. I only dropped it back a few times this year, so I didn't really get the ability to do that. But my junior year, I had a lot of move around room to cover guys, so I definitely want to get back into that a little bit more.
And that's the thing, you're going to be tested. I mean, if I was an offensive coordinator in today's game, I would be attacking linebackers, safeties, nickels, pretty much every play. I wouldn't even test those shutdown corners. Be like, okay, let you take my option. We're going to attack the middle of the field. If you can cover the middle of the field, there's almost no limit to what you can be capable of as a linebacker, CJ. And that's a tough skill set. But if the better you can get at coverage, man, the better you'll be. The longer you'll play. It's so you're seeing it more and more. What kind of role did your parents play in guiding you to this level of success?
They played a very high role, like a very deep role, because they always pushed me and motivated me. When I first got into football, I was just working outside, like really just with my cousins, And then she started putting me into like different trainings to help me get better and things like that. And then they just kept boosting me from there.
What kind of sacrifices has your mom and dad made to help you realize this dream?
A lot. From Little League, they were taking me out of town to playing like different little all-star games and different little groups. They be driving me around. They was driving me around town like 9 years old for a workout. So I definitely want to thank my parents for that.
It has been cool getting to know your dad, Reggie, in the last few days. CJ, I always felt you were underrated as a linebacking prospect, but were you surprised when 247 ranked you number 2 overall linebacker in the country, and then kind of the media started to kind of all step in line and see your qualities, your game?
It's just a blessing. It showed me that the work I've been putting in has like finally started to show a little bit. Started to show. So I'm definitely just blessed for that.
CJ, final question. Who are you most excited to play alongside in this next season, 2025, from this class?
In my class, personally in my class,
Yeah.
Definitely this LB core, guys like the other linebackers, ready to see work together with them guys, be able to play for 3 more years with them guys. So I'm definitely excited to work with them.
CJ, man, hopefully we can talk soon, very soon, and I'm sure the next time we talk officially on the record like this, you'll definitely be wearing purple and gold. It's going to be crazy, man. It's coming soon. Best of luck for you when you enroll in January, and hopefully I see you out there in spring practices.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
CJ, take it easy, my man. Have a good weekend.
You too.
CJ Ross, everybody. CJ Ross, top 5 linebacker in the country, just joined us for a little chat there. That kid is so good. That kid is so dynamic. His film, the footage is incredible. You've got to go watch this kid's film, especially when you compare it to his game as a junior to his game as a senior at North Shore. You see a massive jump. And that's reflected in the rankings. That's why the rankings started going his way more favorably. But really, he deserved that type of ranking the entire time. It's not just because of his loyalty to LSU why I'm saying that. I'm saying that because he's just that good. His coverage, like he said, he's a very astute, very well-aware young man. He said, I haven't been in many coverage opportunities this season, in comparison to last year. And it's true. Last year he had more opportunities to make plays on the ball and therefore did. That's a great sign for LSU. The fact that, hey, both this kid and Devon Keys are great in coverage. You don't have to have Harold Perkins be playing linebacker. You don't have to force him in that position. You don't have to force Whit Weeks in that position. You don't have to force West Weeks in that position. You've got these young men who actually can lock it down. Devon Keys, we knew coming in, Devon Keys had excellent coverage abilities. Another Texas linebacker out of Aledo. And now, North Shore, Houston area, Blake Baker's backyard. This is Blake Baker, Houston guy. CJ Ross, you just saw him, how hungry he was to play for Blake Baker and play for LSU. This is the type of character you want on your team, and this is the type of character you want to reward in NIL big time. These are the kids I want to see really make money in the NIL. You know what I'm saying? Like, loyalty is really hard to come by nowadays in the game, and you see a kid that's that loyal, who's been raised that well, and he joins your program, he stayed committed, so steadfast. I was going to ask him that. Why were you so steadfast in your commitment? But then I'm like, that's a stupid question. I already know the answer. This kid was born to be a Tiger, and that's really what it's all about. So I already knew the answer to that question. Like, the kid had already answered that a few times. So really, really good time to talk to CJ Ross right ahead of his LSU career. He's just about to go be a Tiger in less than 2 weeks here. Less than 2 weeks here. That's incredible. In the snap of a finger, Christmas, New Year's, he's watching the CFP with mom and dad, with grandma and grandpa, with everybody, and then boom, within an instant, he's on campus. That's how quick it is nowadays with these early enrollees. Zach Weeks, the same. All 3 Weeks brothers in the same linebacking room. I know CJ was a little shy of saying it, but I think the linebacking room, I'll say it for him, I think that linebacking room with him in it, you've got Devon Keys in it, you've got Kylan Singleton in it, Zach Weeks completing the trifecta of Weeks brothers. And with that, you've got West, who's veteran presence, veteran kind of steady hand. And West is pretty good in coverage too. And then you got Witt, that kind of superstar, And then you got Devon Keys, who's proven himself. He's proven. CJ's right in there, right in the mix. Okay. You've got a really deep room, and you've got a really good variety of profiles of linebackers. Kolaj Cobbins. We haven't even said. I usually thought of him as an edge rusher, but he's really a linebacker, from what I've been told. So I don't know. I guess you could make him both in that account. But thank you to CJ Ross for joining us in the show. My son's just entered the room with his arrival and his boisterous noise. That will be our time to close out. See, once again, big thank you to CJ for joining us, for taking the time. His family's awesome. He comes from a great family. You guys have to watch his film and get into this player and really study what this young man's all about on the field. He's fantastic. And then you go and you see what he's done off the field. That was one thing that I really feel stupid for not talking about. CJ did a toy drive for Christmas. This kid just won Texas, and he also won Texas Defensive Player of the Year for his 23-6A league. My bad, CJ, for not bringing that up as well. He won that Defensive Player of the Year award. But look at this. CJ helped sponsor this thing, and he's not like, hey, look, give me some credit. Look at all of what I'm doing. He just sponsors it because he cares. I love it. And look at that. Number 6 overall ranked linebacker from On 3. Number 2 overall rated linebacker from 247. CJ Ross, everybody. He's going to be a fun player to watch. I'm excited to watch him play and excited to watch him absolutely take over and dominate. And maybe it takes a year. Maybe it takes, some time for him to come into his own in the college level. But I think whatever happens, however long it takes, I think CJ is going to be a star at LSU. That's just a feeling there. Just a feeling that from my prior experience that this kid's going to really have an awesome career at LSU. Anyway, everyone, thank you for joining us. It's been a great time with CJ, and thank you for joining us once again, CJ. And take it easy, everybody. We'll be doing more live streams this weekend as the college football playoff, 12-team playoff begins. If you missed it, rewind to the very beginning, and you'll see the very start of our interview. Thank you, everybody.